Hi, Anita.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good, good. What do you think of things went for you today in the lesson that I just sat through?
I think it went pretty well. The kids were pretty engaged in their questions, and I noticed that some kids were getting up in the back of the room to look to see what was happening when their eyes turned red when they were testing for the disease. So I think it was pretty engaging.
In our pre-op conversation, we decided to look at Jonathan. And so I actually script the interaction on how Jonathan was going around the class and what he was actually doing. So what I would like for you to do, just look over this a few moments, okay, and just to see what information or data that you can use here to help you in managing him.
Well, it was interesting you pointed out that he was pretty engaged until 10:20, at which point he called out to Amanda. Mm-hmm. And so it's just demonstrating, I think, that in lessons where he's more hands-on and I have him participate, that he can focus himself and he really can get in with the lesson. He's kind of an interesting student too because he has I think a hearing disability a little bit in one of his ears, so that might be why he turns around so much and he's looking around and trying to see what's going on and hear what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So now you're aware that he's not being not following the protocol of what you set up in your class. It's just that he's compensating for his disabilities. Right. Very good. Okay, is there anything else that you noticed in this scripting?
Oh, the disrespect over here when there was a student, Franklin, in the front, when he was trying to answer a question and English is not his first language, so he was stuttering a little bit when he wanted to say that blood is a fluid that transmits, and then Jonathan was laughing at him. From
the scripting, how do you think Jonathan's responses to the questions that you posed?
He did respond to a few questions. I saw him raise his hand and he participated, but for him, he was pretty quiet.
And now we want to bring you to the point of looking at the mid-year summary. We're going to review what you stated are some of the standards that you wanted to work on. There are two areas here that you focused in on: engaging and supporting all students in learning, and planning, instruction, and designing our learning experiences. When we went down to the particular standard that met concerning meeting the needs of special population students, and when we collected our data or our class profile, we knew that these students were either 1-2s here, from Jonathan with this hearing difficulty. Yeah. Let's look at our next steps. You think you were at the emerging, and we want to move you. Okay. Do you want to continue to work with this, or do you have something else in mind?
I would say push to this one because ongoing adaptations to curriculum while instructing. I've done it a little bit, but that's something I'd like to work on.
We have already indicated there are two targeted students. One is Jonathan, and one is Franklin. Okay. Do you know whether or not they're getting any supportive services?
I think Franklin should be in a bilingual English class.
This student is higher functioning. Maybe we can have them to buddy up with him?
Well, not this student because he bothers her a lot. And
okay. What about Tiffany?
She was sitting in a group before, and now she's just sort of back there. I don't know, it seems like some things are going on with her.
Is there another student that he can buddy up with to support him?
Well, there could be a possibility of moving Tiffany to there, or moving maybe Meeker Haler over to the seat.
How would you present that to them?
I would just ask her if she would like to partake more in the classwork in the group. If you would sit over here and sort of help out some of the students, because I know that you understand everything.
How would you deal with Jonathan?
I would just explain to him that I had rearranged some of the seating.
Have you ever dealt with his hearing before?
He's never addressed it to me, but his mother wrote on a note early in the year that he had this problem.
Particular plan that you have discussed to see if you can get them back on target and move them forward. Let's look at what you said was your plan. which was differentiating instruction and giving students choices. Talk to me about what you have done.
Well, in this last lesson, there was differentiation because I gave them task cards so they could see visually set out what they had to do in their lab. And it was a sort of a hands-on lab, so it was the kinesthetic got them going too. So it had all components in there, and that really, I think, gave each chance for the students to engage. As far as differentiating instruction, giving students choices, I recently had them do a disease project in this unit, in which they were to research a disease and present it in a report format, and I gave them the layout for that.
They could select what's
Right.
they're interested in.
Yeah, it was interesting because I gave them a reflection sheet on this assignment, and I had them explain why did they choose the disease they chose, and they would say, oh, because I have asthma, or because my cousin has autism, and things like that. So that was just like a nice connection.
And with that connection, they probably remember their research. Yeah, good. Is there anything else that you can think of right now?
I do have students set their own goals in my class.
Oh, great.
Maybe just passing those back to them, like during that day when we're going to reflect and see, did you meet this goal? Yes or no, and how did you get there? And if you haven't, how can you achieve that goal before the end of the year?
Good. I think you should write that as a next step. Do you feel pretty comfortable with what we have set so far so we can begin working on that?
No, I think this is a good foundation for that, so I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, Anita, thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.